What is up, my dear friends? Tyler Stratton here, your heartbreak coach. And today I have a very powerful lesson for you. Another training coming to you today. But before I get started, I do want to apologize if my voice sounds a little bit differently. Ideally, I've gotten sick over the past 10 days, not with COVID, but I got laryngitis and my throat's a little weak. So bear with me if I seem to lose my voice or my voice goes in and out or there's a little bit of a difference in my voice. Ideally, I still want to show up for you today and give you this content for I know it's going to help you overcome your heart's hurt so that you can create happiness in return. So today we're going to be talking a lot about basically how you can go about changing your environment so that you can begin to heal and not feel so triggered at times. And I think you're going to find this really helpful because ideally, I do truly believe that your environment controls you more than you think. And so we're going to help you change that today. We're going to help you overcome that battle today. We're going to help you find a newness in your life and in yourself. We're going to help you understand how you can begin to make subtle changes, not only in your environment externally, but your environment internally, so that things can begin to feel different and change for the good. This is something you should be ideally excited about because right now there's a lot of newness in your life, and some of it is what you don't want. Some of it is what you're currently, this newness that you're currently experiencing is a sign of a newness that you don't actually want to experience. You're going through a heartbreak at this point in time, and going through a heartbreak, excuse me, is never easy. You're dealing with 101 different types of emotions. You feel completely lost and broken and hurt and betrayed and angry and upset and confused. And there's so many different emotions that you're experiencing, and it's all normal. It's all normal to feel that way. And I didn't really know that for a while, but it is normal. And I'm hoping that in today's training, you're going to be able to understand how to change your environment, optimize your life so that you are not being triggered by thoughts and feelings about the breakup. That's the goal behind today. The goal is so that you can reclaim your personal power by taking back what is yours, your environment. So, if you don't mind, sorry, if you don't mind, like always, give me a little bit of grace, especially today with my voice being so different and a little rough. If I look at my notes, don't mind it. I am also trying to do my best to make sure I give you the best type of information that I possibly can. So give me one moment. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Nonetheless, let's take a moment for ourselves to pat ourselves on the back because you're doing the work that it takes. You're taking the time out of your day to focus on yourself. That is vitally important. It is so important that you just put your hands over your heart for a moment and be like, I'm here. I'm here for me. I'm here to heal me so that I can have the happiness that I want to experience, not only in myself and in my life, but in my relationships too, because I do want to have a happy, joyful, and loving relationship with not only myself, but one day somebody else that truly accepts me the way that I'm going to be able to accept me. Let's breathe that in and take a moment to realize that today begins a new day. And today you have an opportunity to change your happiness and your health and your mindset and your ability to overcome heartbreak. So, to get started, if you want to heal, you must change your environment after your heartbreak. I think this should be something that's rather common sense, but even if it's common sense, it doesn't mean that it's common practice. And what I mean by that when I say that is ideally, many of the times we may know that we should probably get all of the stuff away from ourselves that are causing us to be triggered by this breakup, but we don't do it. You see, a lot of people know how to overcome their heartbreak. They're just not willing to do it because they don't want to let go. And so, if you don't want to let go of them, I'm going to challenge you today to let go of things that are of them. So, most of the time, your environment, I believe, truly controls you. You don't get to control your environment. And this is the key if you want to be able to let go and move on after heartbreak. You've got to learn how to control your environment rather than allowing your environment to control you. Changing your environment changes everything. And I believe a simple change in the environment can be the big difference between you staying stuck and feeling unhappy and unhealthy and negative about the current circumstances that you're in on about your ex and being able to finally be unstuck and move on, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to help you get unstuck and feel equipped and empowered and joyful and purposeful after your heartbreak. I really, like I said, I believe a simple change in your environment can be the big difference to help you get unstuck. And if you don't believe me, think about this for a moment. Think about how your environment already controls you. Think about when you're at home. You might act a certain way, you might look a certain way, you might speak a certain way, you might hold yourself a certain way. But when you go out to a family gathering, a family's friend's house, church or a job, you change the way you behave, you change the way you look, talk, and that environment might even change the way you feel. Am I right? Like over the weekend, my fiance and I went to church, and I know it puts me in a little bit of a different mindset. I feel more at peace when I'm at our church. I feel more loved by God when I'm there. There's just certain things that I experience and feel. The change of environment changes me. So I need to help you change your environment. But this is not something I can do. Remember, none of this is going to work unless you actually apply it and do it. That's the thing. I can hold you accountable. I can be here. I can help guide, coach, and mentor you through the process of what you can do right after heartbreak. And this is one of the things that you can do right after your heartbreak is change your environment. Because right now, what has happened, an outside source has changed everything for you, and you feel like you don't have any control on it. The outside source being your ex took away the thing that you wanted most, which was a relationship, which was love, which was happiness, which was a sense of purpose. And when something outside of you takes something away, you feel powerless. Well, what I'm going to do is equip you with the proper power so that you can feel powerful. And how I'm going to do that and how you're going to do that is by you're going to take control of what is around you, not only externally, but internally. So your environment, already controls you in some way, shape, or form. The new environment causes you to think differently, speak differently, look differently, and perhaps feel differently than the way you were in your own home environment. So, in order to slow down your obsessive thoughts of your ex and the feelings you are currently experiencing due to the breakup, we need to help you change the environment because the truth is, and hear me out, write it down, a change environment could be the small tweak in your life that you need in order to let go and feel less triggered by old thoughts, memories, or unwanted emotions. Once again, a changed environment could be the small tweak in your life that you need in order to let go and feel less triggered by old thoughts, memories, or unwanted emotions. And that's kind of what we want to do. In the beginning of a breakup, we don't want to keep stabbing ourselves in the heart, which many of us do. We don't want to keep amplifying our pain, which many of us do. We don't want to continue to suffer after our heartbreak, which many of us do. I learned, and actually, I'm going to pull it up real quick. But I'm reading a powerful book. But one of the things that I learned is that suffering is the persistence of painful feelings long after they were provoked. It says suffering is the persistence of painful feelings long after they were provoked. Just because suffering is common among us does not mean that it is necessary, and yet we often suffer because we do not know what else to do. I think this is a powerful insight because hurt is inevitable, but suffering is not. Suffering is a choice. You suffer because you allow yourself to suffer. You suffer because what you're doing is you're actually holding on to the painful past in the present moment, holding on to it in a long-term manner that's causing you long-term suffering. Because all suffering is you holding on to pain that happened in the past in the present. That's all it is. And that means that it's a choice because you're choosing to pick those thoughts to dwell upon. You're choosing to pick those thoughts to dwell in. You're choosing to pick those negative, unhelpful, hurtful thoughts that are not allowing you to move on. And what we need is for you to be a hero, a brave, courageous hero within your own self, to be able to equip yourself with the ability not to suffer anymore. You don't have to suffer. And this was a big insight for me, was when I learned that my suffering was my choice. When I realized my suffering was my choice, that was an environmental change, a mental environmental change. That thought helped me realize that I don't have to suffer. I can feel hurt. Yeah, this sucks, but I don't have to continue to suffer through it. And that, my friends, is rather important and insightful. It's insightful because you don't have to suffer is just one of the biggest things that will help you through this time of pain. So what can you change right now that can help you overcome your heartbreak the quickest? Well, first things first, we need to get you out of the environment you spent most of the time in. We need to get you out of the environment you spent the most time in with them. And what I mean by that is, ideally, I need you to identify where that it was. Ideally, if you spent a lot of your partnership with your in your house, then we need to change your house's environment. I'll give you a few tips on how to do that, what would be beneficial. Once again, this might be common sense, but it's not always common practice. We seem to keep the things that we shouldn't keep because we're fearful if we don't keep them and we get rid of them and they come back, they'll ask us, and then it'll only ask us where it went, and it will only cause us more pain because they're like, well, how could you do that? We'll talk about that in a minute. But ideally, we need to begin to change the environment that is most impacting you in a negative manner because it reminds you of them. So I need you to identify where that is. Mine, was ideally in my dorm room, which I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's say your home is where you spent most of your time. What I need you to do is remove. I need you to take down. I need you to burn. I need you to trash. I need you to cut up everything you have of theirs or anything that reminds you of that bastard, right? That's what I need you to do. I need you to take the time to take back, because what you're doing is you're taking your personal control. Right now, they have the control because they changed the environment. The changed environment was caused by an outside source to make you feel powerless. And what we need you to do is take the power back. Take it back. Take it back. And you can take it back by changing your physical environment. So, this includes anything that reminds you of them. It doesn't matter if it's the bedding, the blankets, the clothing, the pictures, the smells of candles, whatever it is, you know what it is. In mine, there were some clothing, there were some different pillows that I got, there were stuffed animals, there were pictures and pictures and pictures and pictures. There were you know there were different stuff on my bed, basically, from it, which was just blankets and different stuff like that. But ultimately, the things that were his or hers. Now what I need you to do is remove it. I need you to burn it. I need you to get rid of it. I need you to trash it. I need you to cut it up. That's exactly what I did. I remember this one photo I had when we went to Cancun together. It was a professionally done photo, and it was a photo that brought me a lot of joy at the time. But you know what I did after I realized that she was cheating on me and going against my back and lying to me and whatnot, is I literally took a pair of scissors, my roommate's pair of scissors, and I went through the canvas, cut it down, stripped it out, trashed it, threw it away, and then I was like, that's it, we're done. This was a moment where it empowered me to be like, listen, you want to take this away from me? I got this. I'm over this. Excuse me. Because you see, whenever you see their photos, visit the places you used to go to together, or watch his or her favorite movies, you keep coming back to the memories of your relationship. And those memories, it doesn't matter if they're good memories, they'll hurt you. If they're bad memories, they'll hurt you. Either way, it's a losing game. And we're not trying to lose this game. Okay. You think of good memories, it brings you sadness. You think of bad memories, it brings you sadness and pain. You think of anything about them, it just ultimately hurts you. There's no joy in this. Once again, suffering is a choice. And ideally, if you understand that suffering is a choice and The healing process, the time that it takes to heal, it's not time in and of itself that helps you heal, but it's what you do in that time that can help you heal. And this is one of the things that you can do that it will empower you to actually achieve the end result that you're looking for, which is happiness and confidence and courage, and with an open heart to be able to move on and love deeply and purely. Because here's what I don't want to have happen. I don't want you to be like, I'm over them. You step in a new relationship and you end up bleeding on the person that never cut you. Do you understand what I mean? Like, most of the time we get into relationships because we're hurt, we're damaged, and we feel like if we step into a new relationship, that will take care of my hurt, my pain. No, it amplify it. It will absolutely amplify it. We can't allow this to amplify the heartbreak. We've got to make sure that we're healing and we're separating, we're dividing, we're creating that space, that new environment for us to heal. You can create a healing environment. And we start by creating a healing environment so that we can move on by changing everything that was about them, and we get rid of it and we create a new space. I talk about this analogy all the time where most of the time it's hard to buy new clothes for a closet that is completely packed. You don't see the opportunity, you don't create the space for newness to be there because you're too fearful to let go of clothes that you have an attachment to. And they're not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but if you want a new experience, a new reality, a new way of being, you need a change, because nothing changes. Excuse me, if nothing changes. Period. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you're not willing to take a chance on yourself and change your environment, you will not begin to change. It will be so much more difficult for you to heal your heart. So, like I was saying, going back to the same place that hurt you will keep you feeling hurt. It's really that simple. Expecting to heal by going back to the place that hurt you is like expecting your cut to heal by you continuing to irritate that cut and opening it back up. It just doesn't make sense. Like when I cut my arm by accident, it would be like me re-entering the cut with a knife, basically, right? It'd be like, oh, nope, nope, I just, nope, not, I keep opening it up. It doesn't heal it. I'd still be bleeding. So we can't allow you to continue to do the same things or keep the same environment if the environment outside of you has changed. So this is the reason, same reason why it feels so painful and why it's so hard for you to let go. You're going back to the same place that hurt you. You're holding on to the same thoughts that hurt you. You're holding on to a person, place, thing, ideas, different items that are causing you a lot more pain. I need you to overcome that by letting that go. And a part of letting go, everyone's always like, Tyler, I don't know how to let go. You know how to let go. I mean, I sometimes I like to make things rather simple. I'm holding on. I'm letting go. I'm holding on. I'm letting go. I mean, once again, this picture back here, it's Paxinos and Stratton. It was the year that we started dating and the year that we're going to get married. So we started dating in 2017. We're going to be married in 2022. Ideally, if she was my ex, right, I would not keep this. I would not keep this photo here. I would not have this candle that reminds me of home and her and happiness. I would not keep this bedding. I would not keep, this picture that you can't really see over here. I would not keep these things. I would get rid of them, because then it opens up a new space for us to actually heal. And I wouldn't run back to the same place that hurt me and expecting to heal. Okay, so let's start working on that. Let's start being intentional. Let's start realizing everything that we do is either going to help us heal or help us hurt. What side of the spectrum do you want to be on? We already talked about in a video lesson of what you should not do after a heartbreak and what you should do after a heartbreak. There are 2 video lessons. Be sure to check those out, because I think it's more important to understand what you shouldn't do, because if you simply don't do those things, you'll begin to heal. You don't even need to know what you need to do. It's just what you shouldn't do. And when you understand what you shouldn't do, you'll begin to actually heal your heart's hurt. And this is going to be powerful for you to be able to do. So what I need you to do moving on is understand that you need to stop going back to the same place that hurt you. This is especially true if your schedule, your routine, or your environment doesn't change after your breakup. You will be surrounded by constant reminders of your former partner, whether that is coming home to an empty house where they once waited for you at the end of the day, or doing your weekly trip to the store alone. You need to begin to change your schedule, your routine, and your environment. just for a little bit. I'm not saying forever. You're like, well, I can't change. I can't change the store I go to. It's our only store in our town. That's me. I understand. Where I grew up in a small town, so we had like one Walmart that everyone went to. So for you to tell me that I couldn't go to Walmart anymore is ideally not going to work, right? Okay, I understand. So ideally, what I'm saying though is try to find things that you can control. You can change up. Let's say you guys go to the same church. Well, are there different masses in the same church? Different time frames. I know there's like 2 or 3 different times that I can go to my and my fiance's church, and if that was a problem, I would change the timing. Anyway, you need to remind yourself that in order to move on, you have to change your environment and take control of that environment. So, step number 1, realistically, guys, is to pack up their shit. Period. Pack up their shit. Change your home environment, pack up their shit. Packing up their shit is like packing up the past and kicking it to the curb. There will be a feeling of newness and openness and perhaps loneliness, but that too shall pass. So we need to change up our living environment right now. That's going to be the most important environment that I believe that's going to have one of the most impacts on you is your physical environment, your bedroom, your kitchen, your home. It doesn't matter. You need to get everything out. You need to burn it, rip it up, tear it up, strip it out. It doesn't matter. One of the greatest things that I like to do, especially to photos, is burn them. It's a sign of a ritual, a ending ritual, and I think you will find that as helpful as well. It's like honestly, when if you come from the right places, when you have a picture, you speak to yourself. You say a small prayer, please allow this person nothing but good to come to them in the future, and understanding that the pain that they inflicted on me today is not going to happen to somebody else. Before they don't deserve that type of pain. I wouldn't wish this pain on anybody. And if you're truly going through a heartbreak that really is crushing, you wouldn't wish this pain on anybody. You really wouldn't, because it really sucks. So what I'd like to do is like speak nicely about them and be like, God, allow me to let them go. Allow this to be a sign, a signal, an ending ritual to let them go. And now, if this sounds hard for you, here's what I recommend. If it sounds hard for you to be able to let go of things, to trash things, to burn things, to, completely get rid of them, I recommend you get a family or friend to come over and turn on some positive music and help them help you if you're not feeling up to it or quite ready to completely clear the desk. Okay. Get a friend, get a family member, turn on some positive music, light a good candle, have some fun, get some pizza. It doesn't matter. Just create a good environment and go through your house and find everything that they gave you or that strongly reminds you of them. Grab everything within reason, but clear it out as well as you can. If you're feeling strong, donate it or toss it, burn it, cut it, or trash it. But if you are feeling unsure, which I know some of you may be, and it's okay, box it up, the most tender items, and give them to a friend to keep for you until later. Set aside everything that still belongs to you. you know if you just find it difficult, like, man, I don't know if I can get rid of this picture book, I can't get rid of this sentimental necklace, I can't get rid of these certain things that they gave me, that's okay. Pack it up until you no longer have an emotional bondage to it. Like, it controls you. You need to control it. It can't control you, if that makes sense. So the way that you stop allowing items to control you is to take the item and place it with a friend, with a family member, and box it up and kind of forget about it. Allow it to escape the space, because what I've learned is that items have energy attached to them. And one of the worst places to put items, especially your ex's items, is underneath your bed where you sleep and find peace. Energy, items have energy, different energy attached to them. Not trying to get so woo woo here, but ideally, I do need you to understand that every item has an energy attached to it, good, bad, and different. And what I've learned was when I stuffed a lot of my ex's stuff under my bed when we first broke up, I was not sleeping well. I was feeling like I kept having these what am I trying to say? Thoughts during my sleep. They're called dreams. That's what they're called. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So I kept having these different dreams of just like terror. And I realized after I read a beautiful article that items have energy attached to them. And the one of the worst places to put items is under your bed, where you rest, where you recover, where you restore yourself and your health. So ideally give them away. Now, I was an extremist when it came to cleaning house. AKA, like I said, my dorm. I felt the pain. I felt the hurt. I felt the ugliness of what she did to me. And I took everything and I cut it up. I burned it. I trashed it right then and there. I wasn't pissing around anymore. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired of feeling betrayed, of feeling like I knew dang well that what she was doing, but I just ignored it. And I was tired of ignoring and lying to myself. I was tired of being treated like crap. I was tired of being played. I was tired of being cheated on. I was tired of being lied to, and enough was a freaking enough. I was like, I hit my breaking point, and if you want to do this to me again, this is the third time again. That's right. She cheated on me. I allowed her to cheat on me 3 different times. Okay, so I was weak, and I thought that the only way I could receive love was to be in love with somebody. That was a broke mindset. I was like, what the heck am I doing? Love is not about, or happiness is not equal to having someone in my life. It is something that I can generate at any time, which we can talk about that at a later topic of love and what it is and how to generate it and how to feel it and how to sense it. But these acts of removing the material stuff that reminded me of her helped me it acted like a closing ritual. Like, okay, Tyler, this is at the end. Okay, this is enough. And this act is proving to myself that enough is enough and I deserve better. And in order to have better, I must make room for that better to enter into my life and into my heart. So you can't fit new clothes in an overly packed closet. And that's why I needed to create a new space for myself to actually begin to heal. Once the environment's clean, once the environment's mine, no longer ours or hers, I feel like I could begin to slowly move on in the right direction. Obviously, you understand if all of those things were around, you wouldn't be able to move on as quickly. If we were to compete with each other, and you were not to remove everything because you're holding on to it because you're too fearful, like, well, if I get rid of it, Tyler, she or he might come back. I'm like, hell with it. I'm creating the space to let everything go so that I can then spend that time in that space to heal myself. And guess what? We'll talk about this in a minute. But when I move on, or when I begin to create that space, I begin to work on myself. I begin to be a better version of myself. I begin to feel happier, healthier, more positive, more wealthier. And what happens is if they decide to come back, they're coming back to a better version of myself. And that better version of myself then can make the decision whether or not I want to get back together with them for the right reasons rather than the wrong ones. I don't want to get back with my ex because I'm lonely, because I'm hurt, because I'm tired of feeling the pain that I felt. I would get back together with an ex if I was level-headed and I made the right decision and I did it for the right reasons. Most of the time we get back together with our exes because we are hurt, we are in pain, we're tired of suffering and feeling this way, and we believe that the only way in which we can actually heal and feel happy and feel loved is as if we get back together with them, which is absolutely the wrong way of thinking and the wrong reason to get back together with your ex. So creating a newness to take place, we must clean house and make room for it. So bottom line, clean your house, clean your room, clean your space. It will clear up your mind and heart to tune into the newness that is arising within. There's a newness that's taking place inevitably, and you need to recognize it and be a part of the newness. Accept the newness. Don't trying to avoid what is happening by keeping all of the stuff up is absolutely insanity. God, the universe, whatever you want to say, I say God is telling you, Tyler, this is a new time for you. All right. I've presented you with a new time that you can't ignore. Your ex, your ex broke up with you, and now there's this newness. And what I need you to do is create a new space for yourself so that you can heal. So another thing that I think is powerfully helpful, especially when it comes to grieving, or if you lose someone you love, it's not about getting forgetting them. I don't think you should forget your ex, because if you forget your ex, you forget the challenges that you played, and you forget the lessons that they taught you. And if you forget those lessons, you'll repeat the things that you haven't learned. So I don't think it's really important for you to actually forget them, but change your furniture. Say what? That's right. I'm saying to rearrange your furniture. So in doing so, you may also find it helpful to rearrange your furniture and declutter your space. If you make a visible change to your environment, it will leave you feeling changed. Input on your self-conscious, and that will help you mark the end of a relationship. Like, have you ever, when you're growing up, I did it all the time. Have you ever like try to change your bedroom in your house? Like rearrange it and you felt like this newness. Like I remember there's times when I was like growing up, I would change my room like every couple months. And I remember I would change it up so differently that I wouldn't even recognize the environment that I was in. I would wake up and I'd be like, where am I? I'm used to seeing like my TV and my alarm clock in a certain location where I could see the time. And I was like, whoa, it's not there. Where am I at? Right. Like that's how much your changing of environment can change you. You can wake up in a different, you don't even know where you're at, even though you're in the same environment, you change your environment. So it is different environment. And remember, while you're clearing out your environment, you're clearing a path to stop thinking about your ex. Once you finish this step, the anchors in your environment, which remind you of them, will now be gone, replaced with a fresh new slate. This is so powerful, and people most tempted to skip this step, but it's the most important step. You need to change, rearrange your environment. Don't worry about if you guys are going to get back together. At this moment, this is not currently the reality. It's not looking promising. It's not looking good. And even if you were to get back together with them, it's not for the right reasons. I am sure of that. The current reality is that they made you feel unwanted. They made you feel unloved, unaccepted, and not good enough. If they wanted you to not throw away or remove their stuff from your life or your house, they would have stuck around and solved this issue. That's my belief, and that belief empowers me to let go. Tossing their stuff away so that you can make room for you won't make them not come back to you. If that's what you want them to do, if they want you, hear me out, if they want you, they will make you very aware of it. They will want you no matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you threw their stuff away. Yeah, they would be a little hurt, but damn, like you hurt me and you put me in a position to have to do this to create space for myself so that I could actually heal. So don't put this on me. It's not about the stuff. If we can create, we can have, we can build, we can buy new things. But just know that they don't want you right now, and we don't need to worry about the what ifs, or the what ifs will make you kind of feel more stuck, won't allow you to move, and we're trying to get off the fence and not feel so stuck at the moment. So just get rid of that thought. It doesn't serve you. You need to begin to move on. I mean, and this is how you do it. These are the dire steps that you can take that will empower you to be able to step and move on. So stop worrying about doing things for them when they are not with you. You need to put yourself first and do what is best for you, and understand this very important lesson. This is going to be something I maybe want you to write down, but you have nothing to lose by doing the work to heal your heartbreak. I know some of you hold the fear that if you heal and do the work, you might not want your ex anymore. But remember, healing is what brings you closer and much more in touch with yourself. So if that's the conclusion, you reaching your healing, be thankful about it, because that's most likely the best decision you can make. Because really, I believe that you have nothing to lose by doing the work to heal your heartbreak, but everything to gain. But ultimately, all of the healing you're doing is only going to help you. It's only going to help you. Your healing is going to help you. Your hurt is not going to help you. It's going to continue to make you feel stuck. Okay, so it's going to help you get to know yourself better, get in touch with what you want in a partner, and even clear up old relationship wounds. All of that is going to help you immensely in the future, no matter who you end up with. What you heal today will not come up again in the future. If you don't want to repeat your future, then you must heal your past. The problem that I see is that so many people who block themselves off to this incredible and beautiful process of healing because they are just waiting around and don't want to move on just in case their ex decides to come back. There's this truth here that I often run to when I am faced with the inability to move on, let go. Is that life is short. Life is so short. Everything can change in a day. Think about your ex breaking up with you, changed in a day. How much changed when they finally said, I'm done. We had Nicole's father pass away in June this year, or last year, 2021, and it changed. I got the phone call at 3:30 in the morning. Everything changed quickly. Life is so short. You've got to live with the awareness of life is precious, life is short, and you deserve happiness. So stop stopping yourself from being able to move on because you feel like you have time. Time is so short, and you don't have all the time that you think you have. You might have more time than you think you have, but you don't have the time that you think you have. And do you want to spend your time here in a manner that is negative, lonely, depressed, lost? Or do you want to feel happy and, and alive and feel like you have a sense of control? But here's the truth: 9 times out of 10, your ex just won't come back to you. And if they do come back to you and they do come back to the same relationship and you never change, the same relationship issues will arise and you'll end up breaking up again because you didn't change. You didn't heal. You didn't let go. Because what I've learned, and hear me out, what I really understood is that when you go back to your ex, when I've coached friends, I've coached family, I've coached just strangers in this process. They don't take my advice. I don't have a problem with that. It's their life. But what happens most of the time is that when people get back together with their ex, they are not man enough, they're not woman enough, meaning they haven't healed enough in order to let go of the past. The past reemerges and their heart is closed off. Like it's like, you've hurt me and I know this. So I'm going to close my heart off a little bit. A closed heart won't equal love. It won't equal depth. It won't equal vitality and aliveness in the relationship, because you're worried about, you always have in the back of your mind that they hurt me once, they could hurt me again at any time. And this is what makes most relationships end, because you keep bringing the past into the present, which creates the same future that you had, which was the breakup. So wouldn't you want a better, wouldn't you really want to better yourself so that you can have and they can have a better relationship? So that's why I think it's important. If you expect them to come back and you think they might come back, work on yourself, work on healing yourself, because if they do come back, don't you want things to be different? Don't you want a different end result? Don't you want a forever relationship? And for you to create a forever relationship with them, things need to change, because if things stay the same, you'll have the same end result. So besides changing the pictures and the environment and rearranging your furniture, what else could you actually try to do and change? Well, who you surround yourself by, that's another environment. That is another environment that I believe can absolutely change everything for you. I've heard a quote multiple times, time and time again, is show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Your friends are just as powerful as your environment that you choose to be in. If you choose to be around people that are drug addicts or smokers, sex addicts, people that are not going places, you will end up conforming to that environment. Being around complainers will make you a complainer. Being around hurt people will make you feel hurt. Being around depressed people will make you feel depressed. Who you surround yourself by is who you become like. So you've got to ask yourself, every time I enter a new relationship with somebody, or I hold the same relationships with people, I ask them, is this relationship serving me? I do that selfishly, but it protects my heart, it protects my mind, it protects my ears. And you've got to watch what you consume and what you surround yourself by, because if you do not want the end result in which they have, it's not an ideal relationship for you. Nothing wrong, nothing against them. It's not a matter of I judge them. It's a matter of, will this equal the end result that I want? If it's not, then I will not do it. It's like, okay, I don't want to end up in jail, so I'm not going to surround myself by those types of individuals. I mean, there's nothing against that individual. I'm not saying he's going or she's going to end up in that path, but there's a possibility, because of the actions that they take, the things that they think, the things that they do, might end up in that result. I don't want that. So I step away from that. You have the power to choose your surroundings most of the time. So when you do have the power to choose happiness, choose aliveness, choose positivity, choose joy, choose enthusiasm. So how do you begin to change your surroundings, to choose happiness, aliveness, positivity? Well, hear me out. When I was going through a heartbreak, um, and I was experiencing loneliness and thoughts of depression and thoughts of suicide, and I say this in a light manner now, like without pain, because I mean I'm 8 years out, okay, and I just don't hold on to it anymore. It's just not who I am. I changed so much that it just was, but I understand that that pain is still there. That's what makes me love deeply, because I don't want to feel hurt that much. So I think love always conquers hurt and pain. But hear me out. Here's where you can go to change your environment, to change up the people that you surround yourself by. I think these are good locations that you can begin to find better people, better quality people. And these are the places that I actually went to during my heartbreak to help me kind of change my environment, change my mindset, change the way I saw myself. The number one place I went to was to work, if you had the capability to do personal work, whether it's reading a book or whether it's working on a business or whether it's working at work. I went to Starbucks to work. There's something about a Starbucks that changes me. A coffee shop changes me. It just makes me feel more productive. It makes me feel more open. It makes me feel more successful. It makes me feel good about myself. So I went to Starbucks. Number two place, I went to Barnes and Nobles. This kind of helped me to think. I just thought I could think in a library more. Like, there's all this wealth of knowledge, and putting myself in a knowledge pit made me the ability to think more clearly. I went to church to pray and feel connected to God. Church helped me to feel more alive in my faith, because I think you need a little bit of faith in order to move on and to let go and to be able to do the things that you believe that you can't do. Like, I'll never be able to overcome this. I'll never be able to find somebody that truly loves me the way that they loved me. Yeah, that's lack of faith. God took something away from you, but you can't outgive the creator. And because you're giving up that person, you're choosing to give up or give away, you'll never outgive God. And what I mean by that is God will replace them with someone so much better in the future. I believe that the more I give, the more I will receive, because God will not allow me to outgive him. That's my belief. It's an empowering belief, you know? So, church, I went to pray and feel connected to not only myself, but to other people, to other survivors of heartbreak. And lastly, I went to the woods to talk to God and be present. That was probably my most healing step I took. I went out to the woods and I literally talked to God. And I sat there and I got emotional. And I was like, one of the biggest thoughts that I had that I can remember that changed me was, God, how come you can take care of all of this life, all the animals, plants, trees, the bees, the flowers, the grass? How can the waters flow so beautifully, but yet the thing that you created that you're most proud of, that the Bible says that you're most proud of, you created human beings, you created me, something that you're your most proud work, even with all my flaws, you've created me. How come I am not being supported by you? How come you're not healing me and taking care of me? You take care of this tree, why not me? When I asked myself that question, and a thought came into my mind, and I realized that I was being ignorant to the truth, that I've always been taken care of. And the further I walked away from God, the closer God was to me. I talk about that in my book, in the Big Three, where I help you build a more joyful and loving relationship with yourself, others, and God. Connect to God through silence. I talk about connecting to God like you talk to a friend. I talk about how, let's see here, what do we got? The worst prison that you can possibly put yourself in, understanding who and what God is. So if you need help to feel more divinely connected, I talk about this in my book in section number 3. It's the last part of my book. And it's the last part for a reason. So it's the last thing that you can really focus on. But anyway, be sure to check that out. You do have a free version of the book in the Happy Heart Academy Pro Accelerator program. So I recommend you read it. Check it out. I spent a lot of time on that thing. Okay, so who you surround yourself by, you can change that. You can change your mental environment. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. So you can change your home environment, rearrange your furniture, change your friend group, and you can change your mental environment. This is the next place that you live so much every day. Work on your mental environment. Work on giving it an upgrade. Work on it by changing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your habits. You can start this by changing what you read. You can change it by what you watch, what you listen to, what you consume consumes you. In other words, it's who you become. If you want a happier thought If you want happier thoughts that will help you progress forward and act more like your friend than your enemy, then you need to upgrade what you consume on a daily basis. This changed everything for me. And if there's one thing that I can honestly tell you that I get excited about is the idea of how big of a difference I begin to change once I change the things that entered into my mind. I changed what I read. I changed what I watched. I changed what I listened to. I changed everything, what I heard, who I surround myself by, the conversations that I had, changed it all. The negative no longer served me. The negative people no longer helped me. Hearing other people's pain no longer helped me achieve what I wanted. So I changed everything. I'm a firm believer in this. This is what helped me feel happier about myself because I focus on growing myself. And I have been told if you are not growing yourself, you will feel bad about yourself and not like the person you want to become. Because if you aren't growing, you're dying. I already felt like death. And it's because I just stayed stagnant. I wasn't growing my mindset, my heart set, my health set, my soul set, my relationships. I wasn't growing my finances. Nothing was growing. Everything was stagnant. And what happens in a stagnant pond? Things die. My mind was a pond full of algae. So let's focus on growing our mental environment. Let's focus on changing our mental environment. Here's what I recommend by doing that. Read daily. Book I recommend during this time because you're probably speaking badly about yourself and saying all these I can'ts and I will nevers. Hung by the Tongue. Very short book over there on the bookshelf. Check it out. Hung by the Tongue, maybe 100 pages. Powerful book. Changes your, like, think about the title, Hung by the Tongue. It's a guy who's like kind of like hanging himself. It's like a character and his tongue, I think, is out and it's hung by the tongue. And it's basically talking about how you can either speak life in yourself or speak death in yourself. Listen to podcasts daily. The Happy Heart Academy podcast I just came out with. I come out with a new episode every single Friday for more in-depth coaching, teaching, positive insights, different things that I'm going through. So if you're looking for a positive podcast to listen to change your mental environment, that's a great one. Other ones that I've also liked to that help me heal are The School of Greatness by Lewis Howes and the Brendan Burchard Show. Brendan Burchard is a mentor of mine, a very powerful life coach, teacher, writer, author, and he helped me progress through my heartbreak and taught me the ways in which I can begin to overcome certain challenges in my life. So let's focus on growing our mental health by listening to podcasts daily, reading daily, and watching a video about something that you're truly passionate about or just interested in, right? Watch a video that teaches you something about you or your passion that you would like yourself to be about. One of the greatest ways to overcome heartbreak, guys, is to understand that passion will help you push yourself forward, will pull you forward. It'll help change everything. So start to watch videos that empower you. Start to listen to podcasts that empower you. Start to read daily books that empower you. In conclusion, I want to say changing your environment after heartbreak is crucial to the healing process. It gives you the mental capability to believe that better days are ahead of you. That sounds good. And it gives you the courage to believe that you will be happy again. You need to change your environment after a heartbreak because it helps you to form new thoughts, new feelings, gives you a reset, and allows you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I hope that you found this video helpful, encouraging, supportive, or uplifting. And if you did, I'd love to hear your feedback. Your feedback is important to me. I want to understand what you need more of, what you want to hear more of. And if you found these helpful, please let me know. Testimonials are always a beautiful thing to have, just so that I can help more hearts heal. Because remember, my mission here at the Happy Heart Academy, it's greater than what you think it is. And ideally, I write it down every single day. And in my journal, remember, I talk about journaling a lot. And you will find that journaling your thoughts will absolutely help you change your life. So I want to share with you in part of my journal here. Like I said, I journal all the time. Here's why I do what I do. Because I believe healing hearts equals healing homes. And I believe that healing homes equals healing communities. And I believe if we can heal communities, we can heal countries. And I believe if we can heal countries, we can heal the world. And if I believe we can heal the world, I believe heaven on earth, we can create heaven on earth. And if we can create heaven on earth, we can create world peace. And it all begins with one heart. And it begins here at the Happy Heart Academy. Hurt people, but healed people heal people. The change that you want so desperately for yourself, for your children, for others, for your future begins here in your heart. Healing hearts is what we do here at the Happy Heart Academy. And if you found this video helpful, supportive, encouraging, or uplifting, like I said, please let me know. We can make a difference together because when you begin to heal, you begin to help other people heal because you can only give what you are, and what you are is healed. And when you're healed, it's what you give.